We have a spicy update on Concord 2. The article reads, Sony says Bungie's marathon release still planned by March 2026. We are now fixing the problems. So, after the art theft controversy, after the lukewarm reception of the alpha, they are fixing the problems. They are playtesting once more. And soon here, we will get an announcement of Marathon again. And I cannot wait to see how the internet reacts to this. This will be a momentous day in gaming. They will write about this in the lore books decades from now. The relaunch of Marathon. Let's see what they're cooking up here. Sony says Bungie's extraction shooter Marathon is still expected to launch by March 2026, with a final date coming this fall. Fall ends December 21st. So, within this year, we will get an announcement of Marathon's new launch date. Bungie's upcoming sci-fi extraction shooter, Marathon, has hit more than a few bumps on its way to release. Yeah, I'd say more than a few bumps, okay? I'd say more than just a few little hiccups, a few little oopsies. Okay, what would be the roughest car trip you could ever possibly go on? That would be this. But it was like your car was driving, it got 4 flat tires, all of the tread got ripped off, you landed on train tracks, you got hit by a train going full speed, then all of the projectiles landed into a fucking tire fire. That's what Marathon has been like. It's bad. First revealed in 2023, the game promises PvP-focused survival matches in a futuristic world. But behind the scenes, the development story has been anything but smooth. Earlier this year, Bungie officially announced that Marathon would be delayed from its planned September 2025 release, following mixed feedback from a closed alpha playtest, but that was just one part of a larger story. In May, the studio publicly apologized after an independent artist accused them of using her work in the alpha without permission. Bungie admitted the asset was included by mistake, apologized to the artist, and said they were reviewing all in-game assets as a result. I want to know what was the follow-up to all of this. Like, what was the end result for the artist? Did they get, like, a crazy payout? What are our estimations here of how much money they made from this? I feel like if I get my work stolen by a multi-billion-dollar corporation, I want, like, 10 million. Either 10 million or give me half of Pete Parsons' car collection. On June 29th, we got the last message. I'm sorry for the lack of follow-up. RE Marathon. I will give an update as soon as I'm able to. Thank you again to everyone who has helped out. I fully intend to respond to every message and donation. So we haven't heard anything since then. I don't know what happens with that. Do they become a Bungie hire? Are they brought onto the team? I doubt that's the result, right? That would be the craziest plot twist. I'm sure the payout is crazy. They're going to pay them with an NDA, of course, right? So they're going to pay them and you're not going to get to talk about it at all. I mean, that's going to be an ironclad NDA. That's going to be like, you don't talk about anything. You say nothing ever again, because the PR and the optics from the theft is the death of the game, literally. Like, you want nothing. If anything, you want them to come out and say, like, yeah, I was paid handsomely and the issue is resolved and we good now, you know what I'm saying? And then they send a picture of them on a private island that they bought, you know? That's what you want. That's like the end result. Beyond that, the studio has faced major leadership shakeups, layoffs, and internal reports of low morale. You don't say. You don't say low morale, of course. Paid marketing plans for Marathon were reportedly canceled, and in-universe trademark filings like Traxxas were dropped after legal opposition. Yep, we talked about that. When it rains, it pours. Now there's finally a bit of clarity, at least from Sony's side. Okay, let's see. What's the game plan here? I feel like Sony doesn't even want to take part in this whole thing at all, right? If I'm Sony and I'm a CEO or an executive, I'm looking at this dumpster fire and thinking, get me the fuck out of here, all right? Take this and toss it, because this is a train wreck. It's not going to stop. Sony expects Marathon's release by March 2026. During the company's Q1 earnings call they held earlier today, Sony CFO Lin Tao addressed Marathon, saying the publisher still expects Bungie to launch the game within the fiscal year, meaning before March 31st, 2026. So they're still expected to launch it by then. And I believe the way these contracts work is that there's a big bonus by launching within the certain timeline. So they're definitely being pressured to fix everything and to get it ready to go by that timeline, because there's certain payout bonuses. Will Marathon be ready by March 31st? Probably not. I don't think there's a world where Marathon does successful, even if it's March 31st, 2056. But they do need to launch the game at some point in time. They are literally burning through like millions of dollars of cash. Concord, if you don't know, cost Sony $400 million, so this game is probably up there in the hundreds of millions as well. Tal made it clear this isn't a guarantee, but a projection based on how development is progressing. This is good. This is the first news we've heard about. I want to hear some more from Marathon, you know? I feel like they always, whenever they get themselves in some trouble, they jump back into the shadows. They hide in the closet, right? I think they should just be out there and up front and just be like, yeah, we effed up, man. How fucking dumb was that? And we're fixing it right now. And give us an update, a progress report, you know, on the update of what's happening. I feel like there's maybe this PR element where people say like, well, if you just ignore it for long enough, then like everyone will forget. It's like, I don't think everyone's going to forget by March 1st. March thirst? Why? What is March thirst? I'm thirsty is what it is. It's code Lucky 10p. All right, we got to lock it in here, chat. We're slipping up. I spent so much time in the mines. I've lost my mind. I once yearned for the mines, but now I can see no way out. The mines have consumed me. My sanity, my soul have been crushed by the power grind in Destiny 2. I will never see the light of 450. First, about Marathon. How we factored it in the forecast, we expect the launch to happen within the fiscal year, she said. But having said that, this is not a commitment. No official announcement has been given yet. So you obviously have Sony putting this pressure on Bungie. I wonder what the temperature is like in Bungie Studios if they're like, hey, we don't give a fuck about your fiscal year. We just got accused of major art theft. Our entire company's reputation is like on fire right now. We need to fix this game. We need to make it better than ever before. Bungie needs this game to be successful to the point where if it costs them every dollar they've ever made, it would be worth it. Like without it, without Marathon being successful, Bungie as a company ceases to exist. Like they need it to be good. They need it to be better than anything they ever made before, period. It needs to be insane. And it's so far from that, from what we saw in the alpha, that the likelihood of this being successful is as likely as me shitting out a gold brick. It's not happening. We are now fixing the problems, so we believe this launch will happen. And if this launch is canceled, we need to do the revision of the valuation. However, as of now, this is not expected. Ooh, do the revision of the valuation? I want to know more about that. What is the valuation of Marathon? Let me Google search this. What is the valuation of Marathon, the game? AI overview says it's not publicly available. The only thing it brings up is just the $40 price point, which is still crazy. It's still crazy to think about. The $40 price point is going to kill this game for sure. If they did launch free to play, here's the thing. If they do launch free to play and actually have a boatload of cosmetics and try to make money that route, I don't know if that works out for them, but there's at least a chance. At least people play the game. Do you know how many people played Concord? I think it was like 800 people played Concord. 800. They put $400 million into it. 800 people played Concord. We talk about the Destiny population dwindling on Steam by having, you know, a low point of 30,000 players, 20,000 players in any one given moment. Concord had 800 people playing after $400 million of developmental effort. That is the most abysmal ROI I have ever even heard of. That's insane. She continued, we are now doing modifications in development, and based on the progress in the autumn timeframe, we believe we can communicate when we can launch Marathon either from Bungie or PlayStation. Whoa. Now that is a very interesting statement. So we recently heard that Bungie is losing their creative rights for Destiny 2, that Sony is stepping in and taking away their independence, basically. Taking away their independence. And the reason why they're taking away their independence is because they're making bad decisions. And they're absolving them into PlayStation Studios. Marathon as a game could launch as a PlayStation Studios game because Bungie as a studio could cease to exist. It's on the horizon. The complete dissolution of Bungie. The once great gaming company. That's just crazy to think about. A company that delivered arguably the greatest FPS game of all time in one of the most competitive markets, the first-person shooter market, Halo. The company that delivered Destiny 2, gone. Be something of a memory. Imagine 10 years from now we talk about, hey, do you remember Bungie? You remember when we used to play Destiny from Bungie? Can you imagine? That's crazy. Success isn't guaranteed. Success is not guaranteed, that's for sure. And Bungie has had a weird culture within their studios where they have this idea that they have Bungie magic and everything they touch turns to gold. That's why they've had such successful titles. That Bungie magic would seem to have run out. That final part suggests we'll get a proper update or possibly a new release date sometime this fall, which again is sometime between September and December. I'm not sure when that would land exactly. I mean, if it's meant to come out in March at the latest, I would assume a September announcement or an October announcement, more than likely. But even then, we would need another beta test to go live. We would need, the whole thing just feels so rushed still. Why does it feel so rushed? I have anxiety for them, and I have no horse in this race. I have anxiety for them. It feels so rushed. What are we doing? This also allows Bungie's decision in June to promote Julia Nardin, who worked on Destiny 2's The Final Shape and Marathon, to creative director for Marathon. Sony had previously described Marathon as an innovative and bold title with strong early engagement. Oh, there was engagement, all right. There was some real engagement on social media. Not the kind you want, though. It's also worth noting that Bungie isn't operating fully on its own anymore. Bit by bit, the studio is being folded into the larger PlayStation studios, just like Naughty Dog, Santa Monica Studio, or Guerrilla. That's what it's turning into right now, is you've got these two juggernauts. Got like Microsoft, PlayStation. I guess there's others, but mostly Microsoft absolving everything. PlayStation trying to exist. However, we have gone through structural reform, as we announced last year, so this independence is getting lighter, and Bungie is shifting into a role which is becoming more part of PlayStation Studios, and integration is proceeding, Tao said. Take off that Bungie shirt and put on that Sony PlayStation shirt right now. You're clocking in. What do you think? Will Marathon be ready in time, or are we looking at another delay? Let us know your thoughts below. Here's what I think. If you actually cared about Marathon, it would need a longer delay than March. If you actually thought there was a chance it could be successful. But in reality, how the real world works, this game is cooked. It is done. So just launch it, let it fail, and move on. Because we are just burning money by the millions by keeping this going on. Every day, we're paying hundreds of devs salaries to build what is going to be the gaming world's biggest dumpster fire. It's going to be so bad. Just launch it, stealth launch it tomorrow. Just stealth launch it tomorrow. Just fucking drop that motherfucker, say, here you go. Stealth launch, free to play, no anti-cheat, let's go. 400 cosmetics for sale, $10 a pop. Fuck it, dude. I don't know. I'm not going to pretend like I have all the issues solved by any means, but as someone that has been very closely involved with Bungie in their development of Destiny 1, Destiny 2, and I've followed all the gaming trends because I've been a gamer for fucking 30 years now. I'm old as hell. I can confidently say that, at least in my opinion, Marathon does not stand a chance. It just doesn't stand a chance. I don't think there's any world you could make it's $40 to get in here. You could make it free to play. It still doesn't stand a chance. You could pay people $40 to play the game. If you download Marathon on Steam, you redeem $40. People still would not play this game. There's no world where this game is successful, in my opinion. Let me know what you think, though.